Hi there. This is a 10-minute relapse prevention video. Okay? So you and I are going to spend the next 10 minutes together and we're going to be present as you go through the avoidance of a relapse. Now, it doesn't matter whether you have a problem with drinking or drug use, whether you have a problem with gambling or looking at pornography, or whether you have a problem with your eating, or any other of the addictive behaviors that lots and lots of people have. When we spend time just sitting through the relapse moment and being present, mentally and emotionally and spiritually present while we come through that, any addiction, be it a substance addiction, the sorts of things that we consume, or a process addiction, the kinds of things we do, any addiction can be resisted and overcome moment by moment as we gradually come through this process. So, the mind creates waves. It does it in all sorts of different ways. The mind creates waves of anxiety. Those waves go up and they come to a peak and then they come down. The mind also creates waves of craving. And you're having one of those at the moment. And the fallacy that we adopt, the fallacy that we buy into, the illusion that we create for ourselves, is that those will go on indefinitely, perhaps even for hours and hours. And it's not going to. In fact, the moment you're in at the moment, the moment which is characterized by tension, by craving, by restlessness, by the desire to act out in your addiction, is a moment where there are intrusive thoughts and what we call permission-giving thoughts. Permission-giving thoughts that encourage you to find a quick solution to the discomfort you're in. That moment is relatively short. It will go relatively quickly. But the problem is that most people, when they are in the midst of that moment, act out. They go and get a drink. They consume their drug. They gamble or look at pornography or whatever else it is. If we wait it out, a number of things happen that will quite literally change your life. The first is that the brain and the nervous system are an incredible learning system. You know, people talk about artificial intelligence. We have it here already. It's within us, and it's adaptive. When we realize that we have a choice and we can use time itself to last out and to wait out the relapse moment, the next time you have a relapse experience or a near relapse experience, the urges are weaker and the mind becomes more adaptive, and the mind knows it can win simply by using waiting and patience and a little bit of stubbornness as well, not simply giving in. And the promise that the addiction has, that it offers us, of saying, you know, if you just make this choice, you'll be relieved from the suffering you're in. We know that there's actually another way to achieve that anyway. We discover that through sitting through the relapse moment. Every time we resist a relapse, the next relapse that we face becomes weaker and we become stronger. So this moment here is your training. It's rather like if you were in the gym or studying for an exam. It's a moment where you are learning something new. You're learning literally a new skill, a new ability, a new side of yourself that maybe you didn't know you had, all by simply waiting for the wave to come up and then to come down again. And that's where we're at the moment. You might find gradually, as you watch this video, that the wave for you is peaking now at the pinnacle. that might feel like tight-chestedness. It might feel like an unbearable tension. It might feel like a kind of a distracted nature. It might feel that you want to leave your own body. But this is really the sensations that the nervous system is giving you. We've told our nervous system for a long, long time that there's an easy release to how we feel. There's an easy release to the problem of being us. There's an easy escape, and we can get away. And now the nervous system is in revolt. It is shouting for that thing to come back, that thing that we've trained it in. And what we have to do, as we recognize that this is no longer good for us and no longer something that we can or should do, is we're having to retrain the nervous system. And that's why it is in this kind of temporary discomfort. Now, there is a difference between discomfort and pain. If you're in the gym and you are exercising and you're out of breath, that's that's evidence of discomfort. The body's changing. The body is becoming more fit and the body is growing. If you sprain your ankle or pull a ligament, you are in intense pain, and that's the body's way of telling you to stop. Got to stop now. We're not experiencing that. We're experiencing discomfort. The experience you have now is the experience of you becoming stronger. And the longer we wait out this moment, the stronger you're going to become. This is something that is actually more positive than you could possibly imagine. If you are resisting the relapse now, you are in recovery, and you are in the toughest phase of recovery, the real hard work of recovery. And look, you're doing it. Listen to yourself and listen to this and imagine how incredible this is. This might be something perhaps you never thought was possible, perhaps something you never thought was attainable. You're doing it by simply listening to this. And you can come back to this video again and again and again. The reason why this video is 10 minutes long is because if we pause for 10 minutes, stop for 10 minutes, become centered for 10 minutes, and listen for 10 minutes to ourselves, to our thoughts, listen to what the body is telling us, we can overcome our illness. The 10-minute gap is there because it takes less than 10 minutes for us to decide to relapse. That's something that's can be automatic, can automatically happen in an instance. But taking this 10-minute pause takes us through the peak of peak tension, hopefully down the other side. Okay, now we've got about 60 seconds left to go, you and I, and we're going to do that together. Okay, because when this video has finished, you will have become stronger. Your recovery will be stronger, and you will be further down the road than you were. You will be able to say to yourself, I can resist the urge to act out. I can resist the urge to relapse. I can resist the urge to harm myself through a substance or a behavior of my choosing, 10 minutes at a time. 10 minutes at a time. If you can do 10 minutes, you can do 60 minutes. You can do an entire hour. And if you can do an entire hour, then you can gradually, bit by bit, do an entire day. Recoveries begin moment by moment, decision by decision, minute by minute. And you've just done 10 minutes of recovery time. So give yourself a huge, huge round of applause and recognize how strong you're being. See the positives. And if you need to watch this again, watch it again. And you can keep doing this. And if you need to break your day down to 10 minutes at a time, you can keep doing that as well. Okay? So I hope this has been helpful for you. And remember, if you find this useful, like, share, and subscribe. Keep going because you're strong. Thank you.